somebody might have heard what you just said and be thinking to themselves, okay, but that costs money too. Do you have any idea what the cost difference would be to increase the amount of health and human services sorts of things that we can do to intervene with nonviolent offenders? I mean, is there additional cost, or do we already have the capacity as a county?
Well, we can look at just community corrections. To do community corrections, it costs about $24 to $25 a day, compared to $65 a day to put them in the county jail. Obviously, it's a lot cheaper to have them in the community corrections program. Some of those services that I'm talking about that community corrections links people to are not funded by local government. They come from private nonprofit sector, they come from the faith-based community, they come from all different sources. It's by working together as a community that we can answer people's needs. So I do think when we look at that cost to $65 compared to about $24 or $25, it's obvious that investing in community corrections is going to save us money. But there's also another aspect of this. Traditionally, however much it costs you to build your jail or prison, let's say $65 million, 25% of that cost is what your annual operations is going to cost you. Then we have to also realize that the courts require us to provide health care to those who are incarcerated. And health care costs are going up. And to my mind, doesn't it make more sense that we would connect people with services like People's Health Center before they get into trouble and get into the jail system where we have to pay very high rates for health care when we can do it cheaper out in the community and better?
Well, that makes sense to me, but you probably already have my vote. So.
Well, good.
Yes. I don't want to dwell too much on this jail issue, but it's very interesting. You cited statistics that the United States has the highest number of people incarcerated of any other developed country. What does that do to our society? What does that do to Lincoln, Lancaster County when we want to incarcerate more people instead of giving them the services that they need?
Well, I think that starts to break apart families. I think it creates a greater tax burden. And I think that ultimately it is used as, I don't think intentionally, but unintentionally, as a tool that hurts minority communities. Because minority communities often are targeted for law enforcement violations, they often end up in our county jail system at a greater rate than the majority community. And once you have those kinds of marks against you on your record, it becomes increasingly more difficult to seek employment. And it becomes a downward spiral that people cannot rebound from. But I want to talk some about the fact that I live in a core neighborhood here in Lincoln, and just 2 blocks from the Capitol. And this links up somewhat with the jail issue. When we live in core neighborhoods, we find that a lot of people lack access to health care, particularly mental health care. And these are issues that the county board could address, but is not. And we need to go and bring an awareness that if we want our core neighborhoods to function, that they need the services that allow families to function. So that's one of the reasons that I'm running. Okay.
I know you're currently a school board member, and the area that you represent on the Lincoln Public Schools School Board is a lot of the same area that you'll be representing as a county commissioner.
Yeah.
What have you learned in your time as a school board member that you'll be able to apply to your new role as a county commissioner?
Well, I'll tell you, being on the school board is a wonderful experience because you get to learn how to go and balance the needs of many constituencies and work with other elected peers. And I think one of the things people don't understand, that when you get into elective office, that you don't wield some magic wand that's going to solve everything. It's about being able to negotiate and hammer out the kinds of solutions that we can all live with. And you have to be able to go and work with a diversity of people. And if there's anything I gained from my experience on the Lincoln Board of Education, is learning how to work with that diversity of people. And I think it's been a really positive experience.
Okay. What kinds of issues might there be overlap? I mean, in addition to diversity that you'll be dealing with on the county commission in your neighborhood that you've been working on the Board of Education?
Well,
put another way, what else is important to you in your campaign?
Oh, there is so much that is important to me. I think the welfare of children is very important. I think that going and being able to, like, for instance, when we build new schools, and it's just not about core neighborhoods, it's also about emerging and developing neighborhoods, that we have the streets and roads that will lead to those schools. And that is a responsibility that is shared between the city and the county through the RETS program. And I think that we need to have better involvement in that program by the county board, so that we can ensure that the infrastructure that we develop in our outlying areas is not having to be redone over and over again. If you have some vision when you're working on those kinds of issues, you can go and purchase right away that is the kind of right-of-way that you would have in an urban setting at a much cheaper rate, and not wait until the city comes right into that area, when that cost of the purchase of that land is going to be very expensive. I think that there needs to be a better working relationship between the county and the city on those kinds of issues.